Chapter 1. Is it her? Her mind was a maze of anxieties, constantly unlocking doors that concealed every moment of her past. Each door guarded memories she desperately wished to forget, never wanting to retrieve the keys that would reopen them. The darkness behind these doors engulfed her, casting a shadow that felt almost luminous in its intensity darkness that paradoxically glistened within the shadows themselves. It was as if she were living inside a horror movie, with each step forward only making things worse. Yet, unexpectedly, a glimmer of light appeared within the gloom. This light was surprising, considering the depth of her past. It shone upon a version of herself that she would rediscover, a version from a time when life seemed effortless. In those moments, worry was non-existent. Even the chill of a cold breeze couldn't touch her. Everything felt perfect. She became the warm spot for others, the light of their day, the happiness that exhaled their sadness, and the joy that lifted gloomy spirits. She was the girl admired and adored, the one others cheered for, convinced she would rise to the top. Her innocence was unmistakable. She followed the rules, always showed kindness and politeness, and despised trouble. She could easily have been considered that girl, the one who was simply herself, unwaveringly confident and filled with self-assurance. But behind her innocent, good girl facade, she hid something from everybody. While she presented a graceful image to the world, inside she struggled. Overwhelmed by emotions she dared not to reveal, the version of herself that she kept hidden was one the world would never suspect, a side marked by vulnerability and pain. Her heart racing wildly like a sprinting cheetah in moments of distress, tears streaming down her face, flowing steadily like a river as she grappled with aching and trembling, longing for someone who could truly understand her. Despite her efforts to appear composed, she was not showing her real self. At her lowest points, she found it nearly impossible to feel safe, and so she endured the pain alone, determined to keep her suffering a secret from everyone around her. I am she. I dealt with stuff my family never understood. It didn't feel like they wanted to understand, though. Whenever I struggled, I was only met with the usual advice, and having to be sent away, as if that could fix everything. It felt as though I was expected to handle all my problems on my own, to bear the weight of my struggles in silence. The pain was like taking a beating, left to face the world with a bruised face, a busted lip, and a heart heavy with guilt. Shame stuck to me, emotions scattered and raw, but I was taught to swallow it all and move on. What was supposed to be discipline felt more like abandonment, as if they were saying, I give up on you. Yet, they would never truly see or understand me. Opening up was out of the question. I held in my feelings, convinced that keeping everything to myself was the only way to survive. Letting anyone in felt too risky. If I shared, someone might know too much, exposing parts of me I wasn't ready to reveal. From a very young age, I forced myself to be strong and independent. I grew up believing that seeking help was a sign of weakness, that admitting I needed support made me less capable or somehow dumb. Because of this, I refused to reach out. Even when I was lost or overwhelmed, I pushed through, determined to figure things out on my own. No matter how uncertain I was, I wanted to prove to myself and everyone around me that I could handle anything, that I was the big girl others could always count on. The idea of doing it all alone became my shield and my identity. Things only seemed to be worsening from there. As time went on, I felt myself changing, growing more weak, more fragile. My emotions became harder to control. I would burst out in anger, unable to contain the rage building up inside me. Sometimes I would break down completely, crying uncontrollably, desperate for some kind of relief or understanding. But every time, I was met with the same response. Go to your room, over and over. That was the only answer I received. Alone with my thoughts, my mind spun out of control, filled with explosive ideas and overwhelming pain. It felt like the hurt kept multiplying, as though I was bleeding from invisible wounds that no one could see or wanted to see. In the midst of all this, these questions echoed in my mind. Would they finally take notice of me? Would they see my pain and step up? Are they going to help me? Why don't they help me? Things had been difficult before, but now it felt extremely dreadful. They saw me struggling, but instead of reaching out, they simply let me stay in my own shame. The weight of that shame pressed down on me, and I found myself carrying it alone. Even though I hurt, I had no choice but to bear it. There was nobody I could turn to for comfort or support. The one I needed most was gone. I cried out for help, hoping someone would hear me and come back. But even though my cry was heard, I was left behind. I had to be the strong one even when I didn't feel strong at all. Somehow, I managed to hold myself up, giving everything that was expected of me. Yet, it never seemed to matter. No matter how hard I tried, or how much I followed what was asked of me, you still chose to leave. I wondered why you couldn't be the one to stand tall for me when I was falling short. Loneliness became my constant companion, and I kept asking myself where you were during all those times I needed someone. Despite everything, I remained alone, searching for answers and a sense of belonging that never came.